Why are you waiting? Are you constantly saying you're exhausted, you can't focus, you lack motivation, you can't sleep, you have brain fog, you're anxious, and your self-talk is killing you? You have so many things that you want to accomplish, but you're stuck. And oftentimes you don't do anything about it until the problems get bigger. And now you're at a place where you don't know what to do. My question to you today is, why are you waiting when you can feel better now? Hey, Mental Fitness Matters family. Have you found yourself constantly in this never-ending loop of negative self-talk, anxiety, no motivation, and you're constantly saying, I'll start tomorrow, or constantly putting things off? Well, we've all been there. And there's so many people that are there right now. If that's you and you're tired of asking, why am I stuck? Then today's show is just for you. I got one question for you. What if it's not you and it's your brain? Have you ever considered that? What if the reasons you're constantly mentally exhausted, you're having trouble sleeping, you're overthinking, and you're never truly reaching your full potential has everything to do with your brain and mental health? Mental health is such a crucial part of our overall performance, and oftentimes it's overlooked until issues become more visible. What if we became more proactive and stopped looking at this as a last resort and began to make the correlation of better mental health having a higher influence on better performance? Isn't that amazing to know that the better you feel, the better you perform? So your question probably is, what is the first step to better mental health? I'm glad you asked. Today, we're going to take a deeper dive into the fascinating world of brain mapping and how this can be the first step proactive tool for understanding, maintaining, and enhancing your mental health. My name is Tracy Alston, and this is the first time you're tuning in to the Mental Fitness Matters show. I want to say welcome to the show. As a licensed mental health therapist and someone who's board certified in bio and neurofeedback, I specialize in brain health and alternative brain solutions to helping people improve their overall performance. I'm a founder of two companies located in North Carolina, New Mentality and Mental Edge Fitness Solutions. And on a daily basis, this is one of the questions that comes into my offices every single day. People want to know, why am I stuck and what can I do about it? And so today we're going to talk about proactive wellness solutions. Stop waiting and start mapping. You don't have to wait until things are worse. You don't have to wait until you can't sleep. You don't have to wait until you're severely depressed. There can be things you can begin to do today and right now to understand where you are first, and then implement tools and strategies to improve your overall wellness. So during today's episode, I'm going to share with you why having and how having a brain map could be a starting place for more insight and better understanding of your mental health. The very first question, what is a brain map? Brain mapping, or what we also call a quantitative EEG. This allows us to visualize and understand the activity and the connectivity within your brain. Think about this as a personalized roadmap of your brain's unique abilities. Our brain all has different energy, ways that it functions. Brain mapping can be that first place for you understanding what your brain is doing, how it's functioning, but most importantly, how we can enhance and improve it. It involves advanced technologies where we use advanced imaging technologies that provides us insight on how different regions of your brain communicate and function. A lot of the questions that I get in the office before we do any brain mapping, number one, is it safe? Brain mapping is very safe. It's a non-invasive, which means there's nothing going inside of your brain. We're just looking and measuring the energy that your brain is already producing. It's a non-invasive approach that gives us the ability to measure your brain's activity. Your brain activity provides so much valuable information about how well your brain is functioning. Through brain mapping, we can see and understand how well you can focus. We can learn more about your sleep and your sleep quality. We can begin to understand how you process and learn information, which is key. So think about understanding and learning more about, number one, processing learning information. If you can understand how well you process, how well you learn, this can help you, whether you're a student, it can help you in school, it can help you in business, it can help you in sport, it can help you in your day-to-day life. Processing information, learning and retaining information is a brain responsibility. And if you are having a hard time, meaning that you get information in every single day, but once you get that information in, you don't know what to do with it. It seems like, wait, I know I just learned this, but where did it go? If you have a hard time processing, retaining, and then verbalizing what you just heard or what you just learned, understanding how your brain is using that information and understanding that information could be a game changer for you. You don't have to be stuck. Seeing how well you are sleeping. Sleep quality is a big deal. There's going to be a show that we talk about sleep and how to maximize your sleep. But if you can gather more information on how well you are sleeping, are you getting into the deeper stages of restorative sleep? Sleep is big for regeneration. It's big for recovery. It's going to give you more output when you're awake in terms of your mental energy. So if you're not sleeping well, if you're constantly tossing and turning and waking up at all hours of the night, maybe you're not sleeping as well as you think. Oftentimes people say, well, you know what? I get 8 to 10 hours. It's not just about how long you're down. If the quality is poor, you could be there 12 hours and still wake up and feel like you've been hit by a truck, right? So you want to make sure, and you want to begin to understand, is my brain shutting off? Is it doing what it needs to do or supposed to do in this sleep stage and sleep cycle? Most importantly, can I get up and focus? Focus. Our brain needs fuel. So what if your brain activity is running lower or slower? This brain map allows us to see what is the potential of your brain. How is it uses its energy the best? And if it's low fuel, low power, and you have brain fog, then you're not going to be focused. You're not going to be able to pay attention. You're not going to be able to walk in and be sharp and turn your brain on because your brain's out of gas. You had poor sleep, and then you wake up exhausted, and then you expect yourself to perform. So brain mapping can show us also how well our brain and body responds under stress. How well our brain and body responds under stress. And not all stress is bad stress. So just because I'm saying stress doesn't mean I'm talking about the big traumatic stressors. Stress can be a good thing. But if you are not able to handle and manage that load, you can feel more anxiety, you can get very anxious, your heart starts racing fast, and then it interrupts your performance instead of enhancing your performance. So you want to know from the baseline, how is my brain and body handling and responding to stress? Brain mapping can also show us any underlying traumas or head injuries. We see people all the time that come in with concussions or any type of accident or injury to their brain, which starts to impair their cognitive abilities and cognitive functioning. So we want to be able to take a look at the root, see what's going on underneath the surface so that we can begin to create a game plan for individuals who are looking for better brain support and brain solutions. Brain mapping also shows us mood and emotional control. Do you find yourself in kind of a groggy, not so good, irritable mood oftentimes, especially if you haven't had quite the best night of sleep? Are you one that has a hard time managing emotions? You're kind of high one day and low the next and can't quite figure out where to go or what to do? It can show us how well you're managing your mood and your emotions. Brain mapping, in my professional opinion, is something that should be done for everyone who's wanting better insights on how they can begin to think better, feel better, and most importantly, perform better. I am a true believer of test, don't guess. Test, don't guess. Let me ask you this question. If you broke your hand, right, and you went to the hospital, and your doctor says we're going to have to operate, but before he even does any operations, all you tell him is that, you know what, I think I broke my hand. It's in pain. I don't know what's going on. And he takes you straight into the surgery room. No x-rays, no nothing. He just gets to it. He starts operating. Would you feel confident in that doctor? Or would you feel more confident if you came in and said, you know what, my hand has been hurting. I think I broke something. Can we get this checked out? Would you feel more comfortable and confident if he said, you know what, let's take a look. Let's do an x-ray, see what happened. Is it a fracture? Is something broken? But most importantly, where and what, so that I know what to do before I do anything. I think we can all agree that we would be more confident and feel more comfortable if the person that's treating us or working with us can take a look at the organ that they're treating, right? Nobody wants to be that guinea pig. Nobody wants you to guess what's going on. So think about brain mapping in the same way. As a licensed mental health professional, board certified in bio and neurofeedback, over a decade of experience in this mental health and wellness space, I am oftentimes blown away by how the field that I'm in, we are treating mental health disorders, and we do not look at the organ that we're treating. Oftentimes, we just take what you're saying, we go based off of your symptoms, and we prescribe and medicate based off of what's going on there. We provide treatment plans based off of that without even looking at the organ that we're treating. There's no longer a need to do that. You can really begin to see what's going on in your brain, and then you can take the next steps, whether it's medication management, whether it's mindfulness, whether it's changing your nutrition, whether it's neurofeedback therapy, which I'm going to talk more about in another episode. There's so many things that you can begin to tailor your mental health plan around, but first starting with the first proactive tool of brain mapping so that you can see what's going on. Test, don't guess. Having access to brain mapping or partnering with companies like ours, New Mentality or Mental Edge Fitness, this could be a game changer for providers, but most importantly, it can be a game changer for your own individual mental health outcomes. Think about what your own goals are. Are there things that you're constantly running into the wall with that you know that if your brain was able to turn on, if you had a little bit more focus and mental energy and clarity, if you could retain and remember, if you were more sharp and flexible from a cognitive standpoint, that you could be somebody that's changing the game in whatever field that you're in, or whatever place that you're in your life? I'm just so thankful when I think about how I came across understanding and learning about neurofeedback back in 2010, over a decade ago. It has been an amazing tool to add to my practices. It has really enhanced the outcomes for people's overall wellness. It's given the people a new hope and outlook on life. And so you might ask, Tracy, okay, so why is brain mapping relevant to mental health? Well, it's relevant to mental health because understanding your brain's activity patterns can help you identify potential risk for mental health conditions. It can provide valuable information on early intervention. Think about that. It's no different from what you would do for your physical health, right? We all get our yearly exams, hopefully. If you don't, please start doing that. We all get screenings and checkups for the purposes of early intervention and early detection. Think about brain mapping in the same way. Early detection leads to early intervention. Early detection is crucial for preventing mental health challenges from escalating. Brain mapping allows us to identify patterns associated with things like burnout, stress, anxiety, sleep issues, depression, attention issues. Think of your brain as the engine of your body. If you're noticing that you're stuck, if you're noticing you have a lack of motivation, if you're noticing you're having trouble focusing, sleeping, your memory problems, or things are just not firing or seeming more difficult than normal, brain mapping can be a great place for you to start. By recognizing these patterns early on, individuals and healthcare professionals can begin to implement plans and interventions targeted towards improving your mental health. Like neurofeedback therapy, kind of like what I was talking about, lifestyle changes. They might tell you about sleep, things that you can do from a diet standpoint. Medication management may have to be a part of your program, supplementation. But if we can start off with a targeted treatment plan based off of your brain's physiology, that is a game changer. We're no longer trying to figure it out. We're able to begin to see more closely and more carefully what's happening. So you might be wondering, okay, Tracy, people who've come through your businesses and they've had brain mapping done, what are people saying or how do they feel after brain mapping? Well, one of the most rewarding things that myself and my team that we get a chance to experience every single day, especially when people come in and do brain maps, is that they're hopeful. They have hope. They can also identify these, say, you know what, I'm not crazy. I've been feeling these things. I knew there was something more, but I just didn't know how to put words to what I was experiencing. So to have hope and to really begin to not only feel what you're feeling, but being able to see a picture or a map that shows you clearly what it is that's going on from a neurophysiologic perspective is a game changer. People walk out of our offices from that very first appointment like, oh my gosh, maybe there is something else that we can do. Have you been one of those people, or do you know somebody in your family that has had a long laundry list of medications that's been tried and tried and tried again, and nothing seems to work? And now there's another symptom on top of the symptom that you were treating the first time that's caused another symptom, but yet you still have no answers? Okay, so maybe what I like to tell people, are you somebody, let me ask you this before we go there. Are you somebody who's been into therapy, or you've tried other modalities and there's been some things where you're like, you know what, I'm doing all these things and I'm not getting much traction or success in what I'm doing? I often tell people, don't throw those tools, don't throw those things out of the window. Don't just say everything's not working, nothing's working. Maybe let's start with a brain map first. Let's get a clearer picture of what's going on. What we do, if you're already working with somebody, another professional, whether it's a psychiatrist, whether it's a therapist, whether it's somebody that you're working through yoga, whatever you might be doing, physical therapy, we work as a team. Let us utilize brain mapping as a baseline assessment that can be an add-on to your treatment plans. Maybe we just need to start at a different place. Maybe we've put the cart before the horse. Not that nothing's working or nothing will ever work. Maybe we just need to revamp the plan, okay? You got to start to know that taking care of yourself and getting more education, and that's what Mental Fitness Matters platform is about. We're going to provide you with some education. We're going to also provide you with some strategies and solutions and some tips. But this part of the segment today is about educating you that there's ways that you can begin to see and understand what your brain is doing in real time. And before you do anything else, you can know where you are and then know your potential. Your mental fitness matters. I say this all the time. It's not about if life happens. It's when life happens. Are you mentally fit and mentally equipped to handle the blows? You being mentally fit comes down to you being equipped with the proper tools so that you can handle and manage the stressors of life. And brain mapping can be a starter tool for your mental fitness journey. So how long does it take? We also get that question, not only, okay, now I'm intrigued. I might want or need my brain map. How long does a brain mapping session take? And what happens after that? Well, brain mapping normally takes anywhere between 60 and 90 minutes. We tell people to prepare for at least an hour and a half. If you're coming into our offices or if you're doing brain mapping remotely through our companies, we will be setting you up in our office and you'll have like a little cap on your head. It looks like a little swimmer's cap, and we'll put a little gel in that cap. And once we get that cap on you, we're going to take you through what's called a focus task and a relaxation task. We want to gather more information about what your brain is doing when you're more focused and alert, but we also want to know and see more clearly how well your brain can relax and calm down. So that process altogether, administering that map, takes about 12 to 15 minutes. We use the rest of that time or the remainder of that session to go over your results at that time. So that way we work with you one-on-one. We talk through what you're noticing for yourself. You'll fill out your own questionnaire about your cognitive and emotional experiences. And we compare in that same session what your brain mapping is showing. So that overall appointment can last anywhere between 60 and 90 minutes, okay? And once you're done with that, you'll have a nice little report. It's going to show you your unique abilities. It's going to show you how well you're crushing it on the focus scale. Are you having trouble focusing? Is there impulse control issues? Is there some decision making? Are you lacking motivation? Do you have some brain fog? It'll also show you how well your brain and body's responding to stress, any underlying anxiety, worry, processing concerns. So we're going to break down each measurement with you one by one. Show you where you can also benefit from what's called neurofeedback training or brain training, which I'll touch on in another session or another series here. But we'll identify first where you are. After we get that, then we'll begin to create your training plan. People often ask, how old do I have to be for this? Is there an age limit? Is there an age requirement here? We map people as young as 5 and up. 5 and up. And so if you're ever been curious or you have somebody in your family or your loved ones and you're wanting to know more or get more information, we start as young as 5 years old and go all the way up. Okay, so brain mapping is truly for everyone kind of getting started, really using that brain, connections being made. You can see where you are. I also get a question about accessibility, right? Because like I mentioned, we have 2 offices in North Carolina area, but you may be listening to this from another part of the world. It is accessible, and I've been doing this since 2010. And so the amazing thing that I've seen is just the transformation in technology. It's become more accessible because technologies have advanced. Imaging, the things that we can get and things that we can see and have access to have become really accessible, where we can have devices that we can send out to people. They download our app, and from the comfort of your own home, if you're not able to get to our office, you can begin to administer your brain mapping with the help and support of our professional team. So it is very accessible, and now you can have access without having to come into the office. If you are in North Carolina, Mooresville, North Carolina, or Cornelius, North Carolina, I would recommend coming into our offices first, because in that way we can actually meet you one-on-one as well, sit down with you, talk some things through. But if you are curious and want to know and get started and you don't have access to our locations, that's okay. Technology has now made this thing available, where we do have remote training available, where you can purchase a device, headset, get set up on our training programs, and really begin to test your brain's mental fitness. It truly is a game changer, guys. So if you're an individual out there, if you're a practitioner out there, and you're wanting to add additional tools for yourself or your clientele, partner with us. That's what we're here for. We have been doing this for over a decade. Brain mapping should be a starting place for every modality that you're getting into. We work and partner with physical therapists. We do a lot of work with holistic doctors. We work also with primary care physicians. We work with clinics that are focusing on weight loss, pain management, because the brain is responsible for everything. Your brain is responsible for everything. So if you've been curious about a starting place, if you're stuck and you don't know where to turn, I say start with a map. Today's topic is about proactive mental wellness. Again, like I mentioned in the beginning, there's oftentimes mental health, all these things, counseling and interventions and medication, all these things are kind of last resorts. Let's wait until the bottom falls out before we do anything. No, you can feel better now. Why wait? Feel better now. If this has been helpful for you, hopefully there'll be answers and this can lead you forward, and maybe this can just get you some clarity of a place to start or what else is going on. I would love for you to reach out to me directly at my email address. It's perform@tracyalston.com. That's PERFORM@TRACYALSTON.com. You don't have to struggle. You don't have to suffer. You can get the answers you've been looking for and praying for. There may be some solutions right here. I challenge you, and I would encourage you to subscribe and share. If this has been helpful, share this with a loved one. Pass this along to any of your healthcare providers or anybody that's on your team. Partnership and working as a team for your overall mental wealth and health and wellness is a game changer. I can't wait to see you guys soon. I hope this has been a helpful episode. I want you to continue to shine bright like the stars that you are. I can't wait to see y'all soon. Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Mental Fitness Matters. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's show, please share it with others. For more information or to connect with Tracy, you can visit her online and on Instagram at tracyalston.com and on LinkedIn and Facebook at Tracy Alston. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.